We'll get to the NFL draft as well as the show rolls on. But there is a location here in New York City. It is a location that I am very familiar with. It's a location that many, many Met fans are familiar with. It's a location in New York City known as Panic City. Panic City is a place we've been to many, many times. Panic City is a place we're very, very familiar with. And I've been around all day today. I appreciate Boomer and Gio allowing me on this morning to promote my new book, My Mets Bible, on sale today. But I noticed something while listening to them and listening to Sal and listening to many callers here to WFAN, and that's the fact that every Met fan has arrived into Panic City. Mm-hmm. They have gotten there on April 2nd. The Mets are 0-4. They lost an absolutely brutal game last night. And so Panic City, whether it's Boomer Esiason or it's Sal Licata or it's Mark from Fresh Meadows, they've all arrived at the same location, a location I have lived at almost my entire life. I am here to tell you that as disgusted as I am, as much as I did not enjoy sitting in front of my TV last night, I was not in the building, scoring every second of a tooth extraction known as the Mets losing 5-0 in 10 innings, despite guys who were supposed to be good defensively, sucking defensively, despite the fact that Brandon Nimmo can't hit and Francisco Lindor can't hit, and Pete Alonso must still be hungover from his Zach Bryan concert. I have not arrived yet to Panic City. I'm not happy. I'm not in the greatest mood necessarily. But that location, known as Panic City, USA, which clearly is housing like every Met fan in this area, I ain't there yet, Tiki.
Well, they should be.
Oh, we should be.
You should be.
Why?
I know Nimmo threw a guy out from left field. That was pretty awesome. You know, I thought Francisco Alvarez had a concussion the way he got hit.
Scary play. And a big play in the sixth inning. That was Sean Manaea's first hit he allowed.
Huge play.
Only hit he allowed.
And Manaea was fantastic. And, they just wasted it. Here's the takeaway that I have from this. The Miami Marlins, I know you know where I'm going, have a payroll of $96.694 million. Right? The Chicago White Sox have a payroll of $128,990,000 and some change there. And the New York Mets, leading all of baseball, have a payroll of $307,792,000 and change. They are the three defeated teams. The three winless teams in baseball have two lack of contenders who we know aren't contending. And the Mets, who were supposed to be, I don't know, trying to get to the playoffs, figuring it out as we go along season, spending $300 million again, and they look anemic and lost.
Yeah.
And I think worse than that, Evan, is that they can't even get their message right. The message that comes from whether it's Francisco Lindor or whoever ownership is, will be okay. You're not going to be okay.
Why? Because of 4 games?
No.
Because they have a high payroll?
No, because
what was the point of you telling me the payroll? Seriously, what the hell was the point of that?
We're wasting money.
Well, okay.
You're wasting
what does it have
money.
to do with being 0-4?
Because you're wasting money. If you're going to be this bad...
You talking to me being a season ticket holder? Yes.
Yes. if you're going to be this bad,
yes,
you might as well bring up all the young kids and let people have fun.
Tiki.
I'm not espousing that because I don't believe in that.
They're 4 games into the season. Here's the problem I have with you right now and basically everybody else at this radio station.
You're the only Met fan that feels confident in this team?
First of all, I didn't say confident. I said I'm not panicking after 4 games.
There's 3 players that are living up to the paycheck right now. Starling Marte, who just happens to be on SNY's Encore right now as I'm looking at him.
He's played well.
Francisco Alvarez.
Who's played very well.
He's been very well. And I don't even know who the third one is. Pete Alonso, I guess, is in that category as well.
Not yesterday.
He wasn't, but for the most part he has been. There's 3 guys.
It's 4 games.
Okay, but...
Dude, it's 4. So do you think Brandon Nimmo's going to hit 075? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I hope not.
Do you think Francisco Lindor's going to hit 080?
No, I do not think so.
Do you think
But he is streaky.
I get that. They're off to an abysmal start. And I agree. The timing of this stinks. There was a lot of negativity coming into this season. A lot of people didn't like this offseason. And it blows to start the year 0-4. I am not going to sugarcoat the crap I've watched for the first 4 games of the season, nor am I trying to. I'm merely reminding you and reminding everyone else who loves to panic over every little thing that we're 4 games into the season, and if they win 3 in a row, what, I'm supposed to hear the exact opposite? I knew they'd be fine.
No, I don't know if they're going to be fine. I don't know what the expectation is. I don't know what the messaging is. I don't know what's being said to this team or why they look flat or why they make simple mistakes, right? The 10th inning, the grounder to Wendell was just, I mean, I went and watched. I just had to go back and look at it multiple times, and I did. And I was looking at it on my little iPad. It came up, and his eyes are literally closed. Literally closed. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, what's he doing?
Wendell's a plus defensive player.
I know it.
Yeah.
So is he scared of the runner that's just passing in front of him? Because there's a runner going right before the ball came, right in front of him. But as the ball is about to hit his glove, his eyes are closed. And so I don't know what that's an indicator of, but it's just sloppy.
Yes.
And so far this season, it feels like sloppiness has been the mantra for everything. Everything, pitching, coaching, skipping, whatever you want to call it, from Mindy, everything has felt sloppy, and you're not paying for sloppy.
No. First of all, I know that they have not played to what they should be playing to. For example, Zach Short's only on this team for defense. Quite frankly, he cost them on Saturday with an error that was called a hit in the first inning. Yesterday, Joey Wendell's in this game at second base. There's first and second one out in the 10th inning, and there's a ground ball to second base, and he has to make that play. And he didn't. And it was a bad play by Joey Wendell. But the real reason why the Mets are 0-4 is that in 3 of the 4 games they've played, they've scored 1 run or 0 runs. They're not hitting. Brandon Nimmo's done nothing. Francisco Lindor has done nothing. Pete Alonso was okay until yesterday. He did nothing. They're not hitting.
And you think that's just going to fix itself?
Oh, do you think Brandon Nimmo's going to hit 075?
I have no idea what Brandon Nimmo's going to do.
You know he's not going to hit 075.
Okay.
You know that and I know that.
Of course.
So why are we assuming that that's going to continue? See, here's what really does annoy me. Okay, and maybe it's because I've watched too many baseball games. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe it's because I got a book out today called My Mets Bible. I've watched and scored too many games. Do you realize that every good team loses 4 in a row?
Of course.
Every good team does that.
Of course.
So why, when a season starts, and we do it the other way too, when a bad team wins 4 in a row to start, trust me, Met fans have done that before, why do we assume that
know why,
everything we're seeing is the reality when you know Brandon Nimmo's not hitting 080 and you know Francisco Lindor, as crappy as he looks right now, is not hitting 075? They have played like crap. I'm not defending the way they've played. What I am telling you is on April 2nd, maybe I'll be there on April 5th. I don't know. On April 2nd, as putrid as that game was last night, and it was putrid. I'm not going to defend it. I'm not sitting here in Panic City giving up, talking about trading Pete Alonso and blow the whole team up. That is insanity to me.
Nobody's saying they're giving up.
It's like we're watching baseball for the first time.
By the way,
it's like as New Yorkers, we never saw baseball ever in our life, and now we're determining this team sucks because of 4 games.
It's 063, by the way, for Nimmo. So instead of 075, you're giving him a little bit too much credit.
Pushing my buttons today, Barber.
I'm trying to. Here's the reality, though. Where are these guys sleeping? Oh, that's right, in their own homes. Have they been on a plane yet? No, they have not. This is 4 games in front of, well, last night, not really, but in front of Met faithful. And so why is it so alarmist? Because you're seeing it with your own eyes. You don't have the luxury to go, yeah, you know what? They're in Detroit or California. I'm just going to flip this off. I don't feel like watching this thing at 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to turn it off, and I'll find out what happens in the morning. They are there, well, except for last night. They're there, and you're seeing it.
Tiki taking crowd shots right now.
Well, I mean, what crowd was there?
No, I understand.
Right? They were there, and you see it, and it's just it's worse when it's home. It's worse when it's home.
I agree that it's worse when it's home. I agree that it's worse when it starts a season. Here's the deal with baseball. When you go through a 1-for-19 slump in the middle of July, your batting average may go from 285 to 270.
Yeah.
It's not as noticeable. When you have a 4-game losing streak in the middle of the year and you're 50-35, it's not as noticeable. When you start a year this way, and they have started pathetically. I am not defending the New York Mets as much as some people may take it that way. I'm merely reminding you, as the baseball smart town we're supposed to be, that to judge these first 4 games and already go to Panic City, which most Met fans are doing, I'm in the minority. And I'm not being confident. I'm not telling you they're going to win 90 games. I'm telling you that on April 2nd, it would be lunacy for me to be sitting and residing as the mayor of Panic City. I'm not there. I've seen Panic City. Right now, here's what I see. I see a lot of guys underperforming. No doubt. I see no offense. No doubt. I see limp bats. No doubt. I see a team that was supposed to be good defensively playing crappily defensively. No doubt. I see all of that. It's all bad. Not defending it. But we are 4 games into a season, and collectively, we're losing our minds.
Yeah.
We all are. And you can come up with all excuses that you want. Well, Evan, it's a continuation of last year. That's the reason. Well, Evan, I don't think Carlos Mendoza can manage this team. Well, Evan, the core sucks. Well, Evan, it's this, it's that. Here's what I know. It's 4 games in a baseball season. I've seen many seasons that have started off great. Ask Mickey Callaway about it. They were 11-1 that year. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? And we were idiots for printing out playoff tickets when they were 11-1. We were schmucks for doing that. Well, let's not be on the other side of schmuckness right now. This is not a perfect team. This may not ever even be a great team. And maybe ultimately the criticisms you're hearing will turn out to be true. But not today, not in this moment, not when you're 4 games into the season. Will there come a moment sooner than later where I enter Panic City? Where I say, boy, the alarmists were right? Maybe.
Yeah.
I ain't there yet.
Sounds like you're trying to convince yourself, Evan. It sounds like you're trying to talk yourself into things are going to be okay.
Or maybe I'm the one realistic, calm person.
No,
maybe that's it.
It's not even that.
It's not?
It's just, it feels like this team is missing something. And maybe it is the manager, right? Maybe it is Carlos Mendoza. But here's the thing. I hear the messaging. It doesn't sound like we're going to be okay. It sounds like, okay, yeah, we got to keep our juju or whatever the heck Lindor said. We got to keep our vibes high. A little bit here, but not really last time. Like, we got to keep our vibes. It feels all over the place. Now, maybe that's just settling in with a new skip and some new pieces on this team. But it feels scattered, despite having some really good veterans on this squad that you expect great things from, including Lindor and Pete Alonso, who for the most part has been okay. But the guys who you need to be like pros aren't being pros.
Are they good baseball players?
Of course they are.
So then why would you? I agree. They're off to terrible starts. Like, there's no disputing how bad Brandon Nimmo's been. How many walks has he drawn this year? How many long quality at-bats has he had this year? I agree with you. But you also know, I'll give you a cliche, but it's such a true cliche. So sometimes it's okay to use them. It's called back of the baseball card. You know Brandon Nimmo is not an 070 hitter. You know that. You know Francisco Lindor is not some bum. You know that. So 3 of the first 4 games the Mets have played, they have scored 1, 1, and 0 runs. That's why they're losing games. Like, even Sean Manaea was brilliant last night. Their bullpen, till Tonkin, and it wasn't even his fault till the home run at the end, pitched well last night. It wasn't even the pitching, which everyone assumed would be their kind of demise. They haven't hit. And the guys who aren't hitting will hit. Like, am I really crazy to be sitting here on the radio telling you Brandon Nimmo's knocking at 080? I'm the crazy one.
No, but Evan, you're not crazy in thinking that eventually Nimmo's going to hit, Lindor's going to hit. But we've watched enough baseball in all of our lives to know when that kind of stuff happens, that's when all that questionable pitching you just mentioned won't pitch. You're not taking advantage now on what was supposed to be a weak first 6 games on the slate. Your pitching has given you more than you could have ever imagined, and the guys who were supposed to be the strength of the team are not. And before you blink in April, with games coming up with the Braves, the Dodgers, the Giants, you know the schedule, you're going to look up at the end of April and go, oh my God, how are we 10 games under 500? It's because you didn't take advantage of this early start at home.
You say a lot of truths. Here's where you say that's the truth, and I'll tell you where I will get scared. If these losses, which are now at 4 in a row to start the year, continue to pile. If the Mets go on the road, and I don't know how many more of these 2 games they're going to play because of the weather, but if they go to Atlanta and they're sitting at 1-8, am I going to be worried? Yeah. There's going to come a point where you can bury yourself. I admit that. I acknowledge that. That's why these games matter. It's why I don't want it to rain tonight. I want the Mets to play baseball tonight because they need to win games. They need to get this bad taste out of their mouth. They need to kind of get the vibes up, as Lindor said. They need to change the bad juju. So, yeah, mathematically, will I be worried if they're 2-10? Yes. I'm not. I promise you this. I'm not going to be delusional all season, but right now I don't think I'm delusional. It's 4 games.
Yeah.
And the Met fan in general, and I'm one of them, right? I wrote a whole book. Read this book. It's out today, My Mets Bible. There's a lot of pain in that book. There's a lot of suffering in that book. And I think a lot of us just assume the worst and believe in the worst. Right now, it doesn't feel good.
No.
But it ain't the end 4 games into a season.
And I know what you were talking about with the pitching. and Mania was fantastic, but it's almost like he's obscuring the reality. Kodai Singh is not here. Tyler McGill, whatever you thought about him, he's on the 15-day IL. Who knows what the heck that's going on with his shoulder. Luis Severino gave up 12 hits in 5 innings.
Yes.
Right? So Jose Quintana was good. They wasted it, obviously, just like they wasted Mania. But you don't have like this pitching depth to what Sean's talking about to sustain playing anemic offensive baseball. You just don't. And so I don't see the solution on the pitching side to mitigate the lack of hitting. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
So when people are like, "Oh, this is oh, our season's done. We're scared." That's why.
No.
It's not because
Mets,
they're 0-4 and they lost 4 games to start. That's not what it is.
Yeah, but
it's just like
Mets,
you try to find the solutions to the questions or the answers to the questions. They're not there.
The answer was always going to be the Mets have to hit. I said that to you all spring training. The Mets have to hit.
No, you said that about the Yankees.
No, I said it about the Mets, too. That was before Cole got. The Yankees are a little different. We'll get to them later. The Mets have to hit. The Mets needed average starting pitching, a top-notch bullpen, make the plays defensively, and hit.
Okay.
Now, so far, they haven't done any of that.
Right.
But I'm not, crazy enough to think, never was, the starting pitching was ever going to be a strength. Their offense needs to be the strength of this team. And so far, 4 of their core players haven't done anything. Nimmo's done nothing. Lindor's done nothing. McNeil didn't start. Then they use him late in the game as a pinch hitter. He does nothing. They have to hit. And if you tell me they're never going to hit, then they will stink. I acknowledge that. Their offense needs to be their strength. And so far, 1 run, 1 run, 0 runs. That in 3 of the 4 games, they have scored 1 run or less. You are not winning games that way. Let's get to some of your calls real quick, including Bill in Point Pleasant Beach. What's up, Bill?
Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing?
Good, Bill.
My question is, how soon are the Mets going to be out of it? Over, under May 1st?
Oh, my goodness. This is what we're talking about. Are they going to be out of it before May 1st?
Let's go, Mets!
Oh, my God. Oh, why don't you answer the question, Tiki? It's clearly pointed at you. He knows
right.
my answer.
Out of it, meaning no chance to make the postseason.
Yeah, they're dead.
They're dead.
We're writing the obituary.
May 1st is early?
He said over under. Will it be after May 1st?
It'll be after May 1st.
Oh, thanks.
But next week, I might change my mind.
Well, look, I may change my mind, too. If they start 0-9, I'm not. Trust me, there's a moment for all of us. We all have that moment. Now, what I've learned around here from a lot of my fellow Met fans, and I'm not just talking about voices on the fan, I'm talking about you guys, listeners, callers, is it seems like we are quicker than ever before to say we suck. We're quicker than ever to come to that conclusion, okay? I'm not going to sit here in June if they're 30 and 50 and tell you everything's fine. So we all come to that point at a different time. It just seems like Met fans in 2024 are quicker than ever to say, yep, it's over, we suck.
Because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because a lot of Met fans thought the team was punting on the year. So when they go 0-4 to start the season, it just justifies their thought process.
I agree that's a part of it.
It's not really panicking. It's just, see, told you they were going to stink.
Right.
I knew it.
And it's something different every game. It's not like, oh, we lost the same way. It was, we get 1 hit, right? We don't throw. Rhys Hoskins pisses off the team. Jeff McNeil, they saunter out of the dugout and do nothing. And then the next game, he goes crazy, RBIs and home runs. And then it took, until the 8th inning or 7th inning before you even try to retaliate, which sparked them a little bit, but they fall just a little short.
That was the one game they showed offense.
Right. It was the one game.
It was the one game they scored more than 1 run.
Because they showed a pulse.
I get you.
I think the problem is it feels like there's no pulse.
Let's go to Robbie in East Brunswick. Hey, Robbie.
Hey, listen, Evan, I love you, man, and you're just such a dreamer. And you know I like you. But
Dreamer.
realistically,
like that.
They just suck. I mean, don't cut me off. I mean, just look at them. They're horrible. Since they lost that series to the Braves, they're just a
What
terrible,
do you mean by horrible?
terrible,
Does that horrible mean they're going to lose
team.
90 games,
There's
100
no
games?
Fire. They have
Robbie,
no fire.
Robbie,
They have
Robbie.
there's nothing.
Okay.
They have no life.
Do you want to have a
But
conversation?
you can believe what you want. I'm
Do you
telling
want-
you, they suck.
Okay, I want you to put a number to suck. What does that mean? 90 losses, 95 losses? What do you mean by that?
It don't matter. They have no chance.
No, it does matter. If you want to call up, beg me not to cut you off, then let's have a conversation. It's easy to say they suck. I had a guy in my DMs the other day, and he's a Philly fan, and I actually do respect that they clearly can't wait to see the Mets struggle, even though they're not off to a great start. And the guy DMs me and says, Evan, blah, 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 Mets are the worst team in baseball. And I said, really? Put your money where your mouth is. They're the worst team in baseball. Like, let's cut out the hyperbole. What are they? And he backed off, and he said, well, they're not the worst team in baseball. They're not a playoff team. Okay, so we went from worst team in baseball to not a playoff team. So to Robbie, when you have the balls, call back next couple of days, because we probably don't want to hear you anytime soon, couple of days, and get specific. And I'll have that conversation. And for anyone out there right now who wants to say, Jay, they just suck, what does that mean? They're going to lose 95 games and this season's meaningless? Or is suck like a different bar, like they're not going to make the playoffs? And that's suck enough for you? I don't know.
I don't know either. But I know that right now you should be in panic mode because it doesn't look good.
This guy, Tiki, let me tell you what I learned about Tiki Barber. When it comes to the Jets and I start panicking, oh, calm down. Zach will be fine. You got nothing to worry about. When it comes to baseball where there's 162 games and we're 4 games into the year and I'm giving you like a tiny bit of calmness, you're like, what's wrong with you? Stop panicking, you moron.
At least with the Jets, they had defense. At least with the Jets, they didn't make a cacophony, that's the word I saw today, of errors when it mattered most. That's what happened.
Can you spell that word?
Cacophony.
I don't even know how.
C-A-C-E. I don't know.
No idea.
O-F-P-H-A-N-Y.
Oh, we went with the PH.
It's definitely a PH.
We'll get back to your calls in a second, 877-337-6666. And there's one thing I do, and sometimes it's meaningless and it's a waste of time. And today, it may tell you a really, really important story from the New York Mets. I listen to what everybody says after the game. The players, the manager. I hear things, and sometimes they say nothing. And sometimes they say a lot without meaning to say anything. Francisco Lindor after the game, and we'll get Tiki to analyze as the former player, appeared to say the Mets weren't ready to play on Sunday, but they were good to go on Monday. We'll take a listen to that coming up, and more of your calls. Have you arrived yet in Panic City? 877-337-6666.